has its fair share of places with paranormal exposure, as experts like to call them. Many swear that they have seen apparitions drifting around an abandoned Mumbai mill, for instance, while many others have heard the cries of long-gone Peshwa on the plot of Pune fort. And still others will tell you of Bengaluru's ghostly night knocker. Are these places really haunted, or are these legends simply the product of fertile imaginations? Karnataka's night knocker. In the industrial area of Peenya in Bangalore, as well as in other parts of Karnataka, the 1990s saw the birth of a horror legend. This one I actually bore witness to, as my family and I had moved to the garden city at that time. Though just a child then, I remember the story vividly, that of a female spirit that would come knocking at doors at night and claim any man who dared to answer. It sprouted the tradition of writing Naleba, meaning come tomorrow, outside homes. I'm not certain the message keeps malevolent spirits at bay, but perhaps it works on nosy neighbors. Not just the Naleba scare. There are other ghostly stories from Karnataka, namely from the towns of Mangalore, Punarur and Melukote. The stories of Vasvilla and Terravera haunted houses on St. Mark's Road in Bangalore would be worth considering. Fire and shadows. When it was built in the late 19th century, Mukesh Textile Mills in Mumbai's Kolaba neighborhood was probably a bustling site with workers transporting massive bundles of cotton to the dock nearby. But caught up in the litigation, the place has worn a rundown look for years now. Spread over 11 acres, it is not open to public, but peek through its large gates and you may well pick up on more than the smell of decaying construction. Long-time residents of the area say that the spirits roam the property, linking these presences to a fire that consumed the place 7 years after it was remodeled in 1975. The cause of that fire is shrouded in mystery, but what is known about the incident is that it claimed many lives. Ever since, passers-by have claimed to have heard whispers and cries coming from the abandoned property. Its dilapidated condition rendered it a popular site for film shoots. But the cast of a horror movie that was being filmed on the site also reported hearing mysterious footsteps, eerie laughter, and other spooky sounds. During the filming of another movie, reports claim an actor came to be possessed by a spirit. She apparently spoke in a voice that was not of her and asked the others to leave the compound immediately. Psychological experts would tell you that the actor thus afflicted may have suffered from histrionic personality disorder or some other mental illness. When more than one person sees the same paranormal entity, it could also be explained by the folie à deux syndrome, where the delusion is shared by others who are either influenced by a dominant person who suffers from psychosis or who suffer psychosis themselves. Spirits of the forest. Developments in Mumbai's Array Mill colony may have the city residents all heated up right now. But legend has it, the temperature dips the moment you enter this area. Some have claimed to experience a pricking sensation on their skin. Some say they felt numb. These experiences usually precede the sighting of an old lady apparition on the stretch of road that runs through this place. Another legend here involves a young girl spirit. This ghost is said to flag down cars, asking for a ride. According to those who claim to have accommodated the ghost rider, who, in an unusual departure from paranormal tradition, is said to be seen in ordinary clothes, not white, red or black garbs. The spirit does no harm, other than to send shivers down the spine with stories about death and afterlife. This spectre has one more trick up her sleeve. She is believed to disappear as soon as she is dropped off. Another phantasmal hitchhiker apparently roams through Mumbai's Sanjay Gandhi National Park, a woman in white who apparently moves at the speed of light. Legend has it, the woman was killed by a leopard. And if you don't stop your car when her spirit flags it down, you'll see her in the rear view mirror right behind you. Guards here apparently prefer to do their rounds in groups with a prayer on their lips. Such stories are par for the course in forests, where the wind plays devilish tricks with sounds and the twisted branches of trees look like the outstretched arms of monster. The right lighting or lack thereof, and hey presto, a lamp post turns into a woman in white. Haunting and housing. In a superstitious country like India, you'd think that many people would believe that living in a place where someone committed suicide or was murdered would attract bad fortune, or at the very least, bad spirits. But then, the real mystery would be the soaring prices of properties such as Malabar Hills, Grand Paradhi, where the price of reality is really much scarier than any ghost story you may have heard. All 3 generations of one family ended their lives here, according to some reports, by jumping off the same floor 7 years apart. Another apartment complex on nearby Pedder Road, Stedling Apartments, has also seen a series of suicides and other untimely deaths over the years, and has another set of scary stories associated with it. In another Indian cities too, sites with such histories tend to get tagged as haunted, though it may seem to have little effect on those who occupy these spaces. Kolkata's Writers' Building, for instance, is supposed to be one of the most haunted places and counts among its other ward inhabitants a British Inspector General who was killed by freedom fighters. People continue to work in these buildings though. Some have claimed to have heard screams and sounds from unoccupied rooms. Talks of the negative energy and scary sightings notwithstanding, when it comes to prime properties at least, it seems people can be pretty selective when it comes to plasmophobia.